Hello, we're going to be taking a look at homework number 1 and how to complete this assignment. You'll notice that we're going to be using rainfall data for the Green Bay Airport, but I'm going to show you what we watched in class as we compile the data in tables and then in a graph for Milwaukee. So here's the assignment, but what we're going to do is go back to the course documents for week with the rainfall, and even though I do have over here is the precipitation frequency data server from NOAA, we're going to go through the SewerPack website so you can see how to get there through SewerPack. As we saw in class, we're going to be going through the environment. There's a bunch of stuff from SewerPack on the environment, but we're interested in the precipitation frequency data. So over here we have where this is going to open up and give us the data on the precipitation frequency. Now this was published in 2013. It revised what had been being used for many years as far as sizing detention ponds. But this is for the states of Colorado, Iowa, Kansas, Michigan, etc., all the way through and including Wisconsin. We're going to go to the NOAA site where it has the rainfall data. So we're going to click on here, and now we have the Hydrometeorological Design Studies Center. We're going to find stuff for Wisconsin, and specifically in Wisconsin we want to look for Milwaukee Airport. I'm going to have to zoom in here to find the airport. So as I zoom in, and then right over in here should be the airport. It has now got the table over here with all the rainfall data. Now this is average recurrence of the storms. Here's the duration. But down here at the bottom, you notice it says estimates from the table in CSV format. This is the precipitation frequency estimates. So this is rainfall depth. So like in this cell over here is for a 5-minute duration storm that would occur once every year. And then we have 0.326 inches of rainfall depth. So we want to change that once we get it into rainfall intensity. So I'm going to come over here and look for the CSV values, and we'll open this up, and I have this table, which is a little bit nicer to work with than trying to copy over the table from the web page. So I'm going to do File, Save As, and I'm going to do this on my desktop as Milwaukee Airport rainfall intensity. I'm going to make it a Excel workbook. So now I have that information. Now what I want to do is come over here and copy all these cells. So I'm coming over here, pasting all that information down. This is now going to become a rainfall intensity estimates. What I'm going to do is convert all these over here to fractions of an hour. So here's my duration. And what I'm going to do is convert that to fractions of an hour. So I have 5 minutes divided by 60 minutes per hour. So there's my fraction of an hour. Over here is 10 minutes. And now 15 and 30. Now I have 1 hour 2 hours, 3 hours, 6 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours, 2 days, which is 48 hours, 72 hours, 96 hours, 168 hours, 240, 480, 720, and so on. Oops, that is not correct, because that should be 60. Now I have all this converted over to hours. And what I'm going to do is I don't want to have this in depth of rainfall, because that's what this is from this table, which I copied over. What I'm actually going to do now is put in an equation. I want to have this rainfall depth over this amount of time gives me that rainfall intensity. So I can copy this now. And now I have my rainfall intensity for that time with a storm that would occur on a frequency of once every year. But over here is I want to lock in that I have the same duration. So now I can come over here and copy that, come over here and paste. Now on all these, what I want to do is I want to take where I have the $15 and just replace it with 15. I replace all of them here. So now I can take these cells, copy them, come down here and paste. Now I have all my table converted over to rainfall intensity. So now what I need to do is clear this up so I don't have so many decimal points, so many numbers after the decimal point. So I'm going to do is format my cell, make them numbers, 2 decimal places after the point there is fine. So now I have that done, but this is looking as, this is wrong. And I had fat fingers over here, so now that would be correct. Now I have a table that's setting everything up into rainfall intensity. Now if I go back to over here, looking at assignments, what it's asked me to do is I want to have a chart that looks like this. This is what we started with, that we got from the NOAA server. We've now got this. What I'm now going to do is come up with the chart. So you see over here that we have duration in hours along the bottom, rainfall intensity along the vertical axis. We have it from 0 to about 3 hours. We have 2, 5, and 10-year storm. So that's what we're going to do as we work with this. So what I'm going to do now is I have 2 and up to, I have 2, 5, and 10-year storm interval frequencies selected, and I have up to 3 hours in duration. I'm going to insert a chart. I'm going to select XY scatter. I want to do this one with the data points, and it will smooth it out. But you now see is that I want this one to be, whoops, the chart title is going to be Milwaukee Airport rainfall intensity. Now that I've got that done, I'm going to take and move my chart so it's not on top of all my information. But you see that we wanted to have 2, 5, and 10-year intervals. We only have 2 series, so I'm going to have to modify this. So I'm going to come over here, select the data. And first one is I'm going to edit. And I want 1 year. So then I want to have my X values, which you see over here is 4.68. I want to have that rainfall intensity running along here, so that's going to be my X value, sorry, my Y values. So what I actually want to have here is my storm duration, which is going to be along my x-axis down over here. And what I want to have over here for my y values, which is over here, is going to be this data. So I've got that one done. Now for series 2, I'm going to edit it. This is going to be 5-year. And again, this is the x-axis. And my y-axis, I want to have this because it's the 5-year. Now you notice I have 2-year and, whoops, this is actually should be, and 1 year, should be 2-year. I want to add in is 10-year. My X values are going to be from over here again. Just want to make sure I have it right. Yep. My Y values are going to be here. So now this looks like what I want. So here's my duration. Here's the rainfall intensity. I look good at that, so I'm going to click on that. Now, you'll notice that I don't have any chart titles on here. So I come over here and click plus, want the titles, and axis title over here is my duration in hours. And over here is rainfall and intensity, and that's in inches per hour. So it's getting closer to what I wanted to take a look, what it has to look like. So the only thing that we have right now left is the extrapolation. I'm going to do so this looks a little bit better is come down over here and pull it out. Now you see I have 2, 5, and 10-year interval for the storms. I have the rainfall intensity. Here's the duration in hours. It's beginning to look like what we wanted to have over here. The only thing I've got left now is to put my extrapolation point in. So I'm going to do that in a moment here. So what I'm going to do is move my chart even further down so that I can put the data in that I need. So this is going to be time in minutes, time in hours, and intensity in inches per hour. So what I'm going to do over here is, let's just start off with 5 minutes. I'm going to do that. I'm going to set that cell over here, which is M37 equal to M36. So over here is going to be that divided by 60, and then it's going to be that divided by 60, and my intensity is I have a 0 as my low point, and 8 as my high point. So this is setting that I will have a line that will go onto the graph running from 0 to 8. So what I'm going to do now is come back again over to here. I'm going to select my data. I'm going to add in a point. This is going to be extrapolation. My x values are going to be what I want as far as hourly. So I'm going to select these. Now my y values are going to be my rainfall intensity, so that will be these over here. I'm going to click OK, and OK, and now I have this line. And if I come over here, instead of 5 minutes, if I select 120, you see that it moves over. So now I have a method of, if I just change this to whatever time period that I want to have it, then it moves that line. And what I can do over here to my graph is just change the scale, zoom in, zoom out, so I could be able to select the time period for whatever storm interval and be able to answer the questions on the homework. In order to zoom in, what I can do is format the axis, and that's what I want to try and get over here. Now instead of going to the maximum of 3.5 hours, if I want to make that 1 hour, you see now it's starting to zoom in on this. Now I know that my upper limit over here that I want for these is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of, looks like, no more than 3 inches per hour of rainfall intensity. So if I come over here and format that axis, I can do 3.0. And now when I look at this, I have a much easier time of being able to take a look at what the actual point is. And if I want to come over here and on the major intervals is make it 0.1. And now I have the ability to look at this in even finer detail and being able to extrapolate what it is. So I had over here picked out 40 minutes, and then I can come over here and take a look at when it runs across the 10-year storm interval. Come across, looks like about 2.5. So that's how you could use the extrapolation data in order to be able to determine rainfall at any point along the continuum. So again, is that I could change this back to what I had before. And this would be 8. And then come back over to here and make that 3.0. So now I have my graph. What I can do is finish this up with my answers, put it on the spreadsheet for the intervals that I was looking at that are part of the homework questions. But then here you can submit the whole spreadsheet because we now have the initial data from NOAA. Here's the precipitation frequency estimates. Here's the rainfall intensity. We've now graphed it. Here's the extrapolation line and the questions that are asked on the homework for, I think it's 40 minutes for one and an hour and a half rainfall event for another. You see how we can extrapolate those, but that is how you would be able to answer that. Again, this is for Milwaukee. You'd be doing this for Green Bay.